Hello, I'm Finola Burke from RaaS, and today we're focusing on Kinatico. Kinatico is a red tech company providing workforce compliance monitoring and management technology and services to industry. The company's name has recently changed from CV Check to Kinatico, and its new ASX code is KYP. Joining us today is Michael Ivanchenko, the CEO. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks,
and my colleague, Clare Porta, I'm going to hand the baton to.
Thanks, Finola. Michael, what's the background to the recent company name change?
It's something that we've been working on for some time, Claire, following on from the acquisition of Bright People Technology and also the evolution of our product set and our offering to organisations about putting context around credential validation or, actually getting to the reason of why organisations monitor and manage compliance means our product offering is so much more than just pre-employment screening, or in fact, as the name would suggest, the checking of CVs. And even though we did so much more of that back then, the product offering is so much wider. Our SaaS strategy, which I'm sure you'll drill into today, also covers that. So it was important for us to ensure that as we talk about our products to customers and also to the markets, there was a better positioning and understanding that we weren't just one product.
Right. And so Kinatico recently released its first quarter reports for FY23, revealing 9% year-on-year revenue growth, its ninth consecutive quarter of positive operating cash flow, and $1 million of capitalised product development spend on the cited SaaS and on-site app. So software as a service, or SaaS, accounted for 10% of revenue, and additional sales staff were hired as part of Kinatico's focus on growing the cited SaaS offering. So following on from the first quarter performance, what trends is Kinatico seeing so far during the current quarter, and can you provide an update on the progress of the SaaS strategy and sales for the cited offering?
Sure. So we launched our monitored compliance, a real-time monitored compliance product to market in January this year, and there have been some further updates during that time. So it's that going to market, implementing and educating around the benefits and the value, and we've seen solid uptake. I am happy with the progress we're making, and as you mentioned, we've grown our SaaS in Q1, and I think the SaaS proportion of our revenue grew faster in Q1 than the total revenue growth at 9%. And in Q2, we're seeing that trend continue. So we've sort of started to get to the point as we've certainly entrenched the marketing approach and also that expanded sales team with SaaS specialists in the organisation. The pipeline continues to grow. The number of inquiries directly coming into our organisation for monitored compliance, as opposed to just credential validation, continues to grow. So certainly all the markers for the implementation of that strategy of the migration for all of the forms of traditional one-off revenue, even albeit from returning customers, into the genuine SaaS revenue is progressing to plan.
And Kinatico is currently integrating a significant process automation solution, including biometric identity verification, which will be released across the cited software as a service and CV Check offerings. Can you provide some background to this process automation initiative and the arrangements with the solution provider, Scantech, as well as its expected significance for Kinatico?
Certainly. So the CV Check, as it was known, was founded about 17 years ago, and during that time was the first organisation in Australia to provide third-party background screening via ACIC, and continued to develop many of those interfaces and establish means of digital validation across that time. During that process, the focus on actually achieving the outcome probably drew the priority, as opposed to doing it in the most efficient and scalable way. And as a result, when you're establishing the viability of those products, you don't necessarily have from day one the ability to actually provide that to a very large number of users simultaneously. So one of the things we've been doing over the last 12 months is implementing a high degree of automation right across those processes for two reasons. One is the consumer experience. For our customers, making it easier, faster, more convenient and more responsive. But for us, it materially changes our cost approach and our scale within the business. So the example I would give you is last year we had very strong revenue growth of moving from circa $17 million worth of revenue to $26.4 million worth of revenue. And we had a commensurate increase in cost to service those revenue, which is not ideal. This year and this process automation process is allowing us to continue to grow, but without the cost increase and, in fact, taking further costs out. So the process automation things we're doing is right through the chain of meaning that we can service the functions of our organisation to all of these companies in a highly responsive way, but do so in an automated way, therefore reducing our reliance on people to actually process that internally. The introduction or the partnership we have with Scantech is interesting on a number of levels, not only within that automation lens, but also the fact that so whether it's a know your customer initiative or we coin the phrase know your people, digital validation, I mean, we've seen it with all the stories that are current in the press today, knowing who you're dealing with and having certainty around digital identity is critical and being able to trust that information. So for us, in the introduction of biometric digital identity and then automated credential processing means not only do you have a high degree of certainty and trust about that information, as I say, you then get the added benefit of convenience and speed, and along with a much, much more scalable cost base.
And in addition to SaaS sales and implementing the automation and biometric solution, as you've just outlined, are there any other aspects of Kinatico's strategy, business model and operating environment that are a current focus for management and that investors should be monitoring for developments during the remainder of FY23?
Certainly looking for that cost out and scale introduction across the business and watching that, seeing how that trend progresses. We are actively pursuing growth to our revenue and comfortable with progress in Q2 as we've demonstrated the growth in Q1. But then along with that, we're still managing to fund the innovation and the new feature and iteration within that space to deliver on the promise of Kinatico as an aggregator of RegTech technologies. So we are very much on that virtuous curve, if I could coin the phrase, that not only do we increase revenue, we take cost out, but we add value to the ease for customers in maintaining compliance. When it comes down to it, everybody knows that compliance requirements within organisations is getting harder and harder. They don't need to be told they need to be compliant. What they need and what we are focused on is ways of making it easier and making sure that it does not become an impediment to business as they pursue their core goals.
Well, thank you, Michael, for taking the time to take us through Kinatico's strategy today. And we're looking forward to catching up with you through the course of FY23 to hear more of your story. And thank you, Clare Porta, for convening the questions today.